and welcome to episode 5, Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I am super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast to help you go vegan. Every 2 weeks, I'll share a 20 to 40-minute episode discussing all things vegan. Most importantly, we'll talk about how to embrace this meaningful decision with fervor and fun. Episodes post every other Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? In today's episode, I'll touch on 2 topics, self-care and substitutions. First, we'll discuss self-care. Then, we're going to cut to an interview I recently did with my husband where we talk about all of our favorite vegan things. It was a really fun, lively conversation, and I can't wait to share it with you. First, let's talk about self-care. Self-care is incredibly important as you go vegan. As I've discussed in earlier episodes, we learn some pretty difficult things about the world and the treatment of animals, the level of cruelty that's out there, and that we contribute to when we are not vegan. And it can be really hard to process these things and deal with all of the emotion that comes up. So that's why I recommend regular self-care activities. Self-care really is anything. It's kind of a buzzword these days. You hear a lot of coaches talking about it. It is something that we seem to neglect, especially here in America. I know for sure. Self-care is not always at the top of the list. Sometimes we take really good care of everyone else and never even think about what we need. So I'm here to tell you, you need it. Self-care is anything that will help you unwind, escape, and in a good way, not in a bad way, or process the world around you. Some of my favorites, I am a Reiki practitioner, so I like to do Reiki on myself. I do it pretty regularly and also when I am struggling with something or dealing with something. I also love meditation. I enjoy journaling. Sometimes you just got to get all of those thoughts out onto some paper and either revisit it later to help you process, or sometimes the act of just writing it out is enough and you can put it down and you never have to deal with it again. There are so many ways for us to process our emotions, and I find that journaling, especially when you handwrite it, sure, typing a note into your phone or typing something up on your laptop may be convenient, but there is something to be said about putting a pen or pencil to paper and really getting all of your thoughts and emotions out. I also really like exercising, walking. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. I love yoga, dancing. I'll admit, that's not always my first go-to. It's sometimes not even my third or fourth go-to. But I know that when I do engage in some kind of physical activity, that is so helpful in me getting those emotions out, processing some feelings, some thoughts, and it's also really good for us physically too. So kind of a win-win there. Meditation is something that I've been doing for a few years now. I have been a daily meditator. I've also been, when I remember that it's helpful to me, meditator. But no matter what, in that moment, it is so helpful. And you can just sit and breathe for 5 minutes or 30 seconds if that's all you have. But if you can, I encourage you to sit down in a quiet space and just listen to your breathing or focus on a sound and just listen to that for a few minutes. There's also some really great guided meditations out there if you just can't seem to sit still for a few minutes. That's okay too. I love the app Insight Timer. They have a lot of free meditations. It's been a while since I've used that one, but there's tons of free stuff on Insight Timer, and it's an app right on your phone. And of course, YouTube has a gazillion different meditations there, very easy to find. I also love Ajahn Brahm, who is a Buddhist monk who lives in Australia. He is part of the Buddhist Society of Western Australia. And you can find all of their videos on YouTube. And he has some really great talks about being happy, processing emotions. Really, if you've thought about it, Ajahn Brahm has pretty much given a talk on it. He also has some meditations. A lot of them are more silent than they are guided, but his personality I find really engaging, and he's a fun speaker, and I have a really good time listening to him. So he can also help me kind of shift my attitude and my mood when I'm feeling kind of down. He's a really easy go-to, and his talks are about 45 minutes to an hour long. So and you don't have to listen to it all in one shot, of course, if you don't want to. But anyway, those are some of my favorite meditations and some, inspiring talks that I like to listen to when I'm engaging in some self-care. I would also encourage you, especially during COVID when we can't go out and visit a lot of places, to watch videos posted by farmed animal sanctuaries. They are so uplifting. These animals are so thankful and grateful to be in a safe place where they can have friends and be around humans who treat them well and treat them kindly, and know that they get to live out their lives in peace with other animals of their own species. And, they get to make some friends, I guess, with animals of other species. Anyway, some of my favorites are Farm Sanctuary, of course, Gene Bauer. They have a location in Watkins Glen, New York. I've been there a few times. It is gorgeous, absolutely a gorgeous farm sanctuary. And the animals are just so lovely, and it's such a great thing to be there with them. I also love Woodstock Farm Animal Sanctuary, also in New York. I follow, but I've never been to, the Iowa Farm Sanctuary out there in Oxford, Iowa. But when I make it out to Iowa, I'd love to visit. There's another one in New York, Catskills. There is one in New Jersey, the Skylands. The Mike, who is the owner of Skylands, he's always first in line when there's an animal who needs to be rescued. He's always ready to go to help save an animal in need. And his sanctuary is absolutely amazing. And he does post on all of these sanctuaries, definitely post on at varying frequency on their social media. I also follow Edgar's Mission out of Australia and the Freedom Farm Sanctuary in Israel. It's nice to get perspectives from other countries and see, how they operate, and it's just a really wonderful thing. Across the board, though, when you watch these videos of the animals there, just getting to be them, living their life as a cow in a pasture, or a sheep or a goat who can run through the grass. Oh my goodness. My favorite visit to a farm sanctuary up in Watkins Glen, we were on the tour, and the tour guide, as we were going up toward where the goats were grazing, he mentioned, just give it a second. When the goats hear us, they're going to come running. And wouldn't you know it, just over this little hill, just all of a sudden, here are these goats. And they were so happy to see us. And it brings tears to your eyes in the most heartwarming way. So while COVID is going on and we're not able to visit these sanctuaries, watch their videos online, donate some money. Of course, that always can give you a good feeling as well. And I think that donating to something that you believe in, an organization that you believe in, and that's doing good in the world, I think that's some self-care too. I mentioned that I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I do Reiki on myself. I also do Reiki on others. And again, because of COVID and not being able to be close to others, I offer distance Reiki sessions over Zoom or over the phone. So I'm also able to not just help myself, but I'm also able to help others with this practice. I love it. It's so relaxing and calming and really just brings everything back to center and allows me to be grateful and just aware of the good that we are able to do each day by being vegan. And so that leads me, the mention of gratitude leads me to journaling. When journaling, I do, of course, let out whatever feelings are happening in that moment, whatever I need to get out onto the paper. But then I also like to follow it up with a bit of a gratitude practice. So I'll try to remember to write down at least 3 things in my day that I found were really wonderful or beautiful. And sometimes the day is just about how great the coffee was and snuggle time with the cats. And other times it's easier to find lots of things to be grateful for. And no matter what, there's always something. And that really becomes obvious when you spend some time journaling and you go back and look at how things have changed and your thoughts on things. It's a really centering practice, I find. And then finally, I mentioned exercise. I love doing yoga. I love Yoga with Adriene. She has free videos on YouTube, thousands of them, I think, at this point. She's so amazing and welcoming. And just, it doesn't matter. Yoga is for anyone, size, shape, ability. And she has so many different ways of making it accessible. She's just a beautiful soul. I don't know her, but I also feel kind of like I do, having done so many of her videos. She does offer a membership as well, so that is an option, but you absolutely can get tons of free yoga videos right on YouTube by looking up Yoga with Adriene. I also love dancing. I'm terrible at it, so I do try to do it where no one can see me, but that is a really great release when I'm feeling upset and overwhelmed kind of by the world and trying to process these things that come up. And even, 19 years later, there's still stories about animals and there's still things that come out either from the food industry or testing on animals, use of animals in fashion, things that come out that still can really, gut you. So you always have to be ready with some form of self-care. Those are my suggestions. And, of course, like I said, anything that really helps you to relax and de-stress. Maybe you have a favorite TV show or something. Just be mindful of what it is that helps make you feel supported and helps you get through those difficult moments. It's important to take care of yourself so that you can continue to contribute to the world by being vegan. So with that, this episode, by the way, pretty long because of the interview with my husband, and turns out I had more to say around self-care as well. So with that, we'll wrap up self-care. I'd love to hear any suggestions that you have about self-care, your practices. Feel free to email me or find me on Facebook. You can email didyoubringthehummus@gmail.com, or you can find me, of course, on Facebook by searching Did You Bring the Hummus? I'd love to hear from you. So here we go. Here is the interview with my husband JP about all of our favorite substitutions. Hi JP, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Today we are going to talk about substitutions. We'll start off by talking about our favorite food substitutions, and then maybe we'll touch on some personal care products and stuff we use around the house. I guess let's start with the big one. Favorite meat substitutes.
I'm still sort of working through this one because I think when I first started eating substitution meats before I went vegan, they weren't great yet. And they've gotten much better since then, even in just the last 2 years. I'd say right now probably some of the tofurkey products, like the cold cuts and honestly anything that's supposed to be a substitute for chicken is pretty good. They seem to have figured that out better than some of the other, meats that people might be used to. So yeah, Morningstar, their buffalo chicken stuff is really good. Definitely make sure it says vegan on the package though when you get it, because not everything Morningstar makes is vegan yet, so that's important.
But it should be by 2021.
Yes, correct. So yeah, those would be my picks.
Yeah. I still enjoy a good Beyond Burger here and there. I was surprised because for so long I was really just into veggie burgers made from vegetables or bean burgers, and then the Beyond Burger came along and I really have enjoyed that, especially on the grill. Although we did find those Dr. Prager's burgers that were really good.
Those were
as
better.
Well.
Yeah, the Beyond Burgers I find are pretty good, but for me at least, it's a very specific taste that I don't know. I just if I've had too many of them in too short of a period of time, I kind of get tired of them. So, but that's me.
Yeah,
they are a good substitute.
For sure.
Not healthy really per se, but so if you're looking
if you're not going to eat them every day, then I think you're all right.
That's true.
Yeah. One of the themes kind of throughout all these episodes is that while the health benefits are really nice, that's not why we do it.
Right. Yeah, that's not the main reason.
Yeah. Right. So it's okay for us to indulge and talk about all the good, less than healthy stuff.
Yeah, and that might be good for people to know too, because I think a lot of people that aren't vegetarian or vegan have this, notion that everybody that eats that way, all we eat are salads and health food and, trail mix and stuff. But there's a whole world of food out there, and, some of it's good for you. And there's a lot of junk food that you can still eat even if you're vegan.
Yeah. Vegans come in all shapes and sizes. And especially as, the dessert market grows and the meat and cheese substitutes get better and better, it's very easy to just keep eating the way that you ate as a meat eater. The only difference is that no one's suffering for it now.
Right. Exactly.
But you certainly can still take in plenty of fat and calories if that's what you're looking for.
I mean, there are plenty of companies making that stuff specifically for the vegan market, but then there are companies that make desserts that are vegan, that wasn't their intent, but they just happen to be vegan. The big one every vegan knows are Oreos and Nutter Butters, things like that.
Right.
People might not realize those are vegan, but they are.
Yeah, and they're pretty good.
So there's certainly no shortage of that kind of food.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see what else. How about your favorite vegan hot dog?
Probably either the Smart or Light Life, or the Light Life dogs I would say are probably the best ones.
How about the field roast ones?
Oh yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess I don't recall ever really having a bad one of those. It really isn't so much about the taste; it's more about the textures of those and which come closest to But they're all kind of good, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we always make the joke that it's easy to imitate a hot dog because the hot dog is barely meat in and of itself. it feels like so.
So it really comes down to those spices in there are really what give it that hot dog that hot dog experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, the field roast ones, those are really good. And you can do it just simple with some ketchup or mustard, some
Yeah.
sauerkraut, or you can do it up. Italian hot dogs, we're in New Jersey, so those are a big deal.
That's
and
right.
really good. You make those potatoes right and some
Mhm.
peppers and onions. All right, so we've touched on a lot of those substitutes that are supposed to mimic meat.
Right.
What about things like tofu, tempeh, beans? What are some of your favorite things to do with those types of proteins that we can use in place of meat in our recipes and dishes?
So when I first started eating some substitutes, a lot of it was anything you made. So I kind of just would eat whatever you made. And I remember you used to make like a spaghetti with the it was tempeh,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like spiced. Really, it was supposed to be mimicking like sausage.
Yeah.
I think, but it tastes totally different than sausage. So not in a bad way though. It's like its own thing, and that used to be, and and that was way before I ate vegetarian or was vegan or anything. So for me, it started with tempeh. Tofu was difficult at first. Tofu can be hard to make if you haven't kind of figured out a process. So now that you have figured out a process, and you're very good at making it, I enjoy that one a lot, especially like when we make tacos and stuff like that. You make the cubes of tofu, and they're spiced and cooked in the oven, so they have a toughness to them, that gives them a nice chewy consistency rather than sort of the mushy consistency that tofu is without that. So those are good. Honestly, most of my experience has been with those kinds of tofu tempeh. I know there's Satan as well, but haven't eaten a ton of that. So
we have that more, I think, when we're getting food from vegan restaurants. And
right.
I think even some of the cold cuts, either from How Delish or Eureka. I think Eureka for sure. Which is a great deli if you're in New Jersey or you're passing through Phillipsburg. It's a great vegan deli, Eureka Plant-Based Foods, and they make their meats, I believe, from Satan. So
and their food is amazing.
So good.
Even if you're not vegan right now, I suggest go try it because it's just their sandwiches are so good.
Yeah,
and all their food is fantastic.
Yeah. So the tempeh recipe comes from Isa Chandra Moskowitz Veganomicon. And that I've been making that for years, and it's so good. And it is supposed to kind of be like a sausage pasta. Fennel is in there, and that really kind of gives you that flavor where you kind of feel like maybe you're eating little chunks of sausage. Yeah, and that's my favorite tempeh dish too.
Yeah. We made that Reuben one time too.
Oh yeah, that was really good too.
Yeah, there was a program that we had tried out. It was called Crazy Sexy You.
Yeah, Chris Carr. That's right.
And one of the recipes was the tempeh Reuben sandwich, and so it was time consuming to make. So it's not something you just want to throw together, but it was very good.
Yeah,
it was tempeh.
That was really good.
You make your own Russian dressing. Obviously a vegan version of it, and some sauerkraut.
Forgot about that.
And
some relish.
Yeah, it was very good.
Okay.
I mean, there are tons and tons and tons of good recipes out there. Almost anything that you want to eat, you can just search for a vegan version of that, and you're gonna find probably a good version of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're first going vegan too, don't think about it too much. Think about what you ate before, and just replace the animal portions of it with plant portions of it. A lot of meat eaters, it's protein, grain, and vegetable. So just replace the protein. And so instead of having a steak, figure out, are you going to have beans, or will you have a tofu steak, or some tempeh, or like a burger, like a Beyond Burger or something like that. And so I think it is pretty easy if you think about it that way, replacing those items to swap them out.
Even if in the beginning you need things that look exactly like the meat version of
Yeah,
whatever
you
you
can
were
find
eating,
it.
and that is what you need to get you to do it. You can find it, and really, being vegan, the biggest thing about being vegan is to try and do the least amount of harm. So even if it feels strange to you, like you're not eating animals, but you're eating something that looks exactly like a meat product, that might just be what you need to do at first. And that's okay. It's still far better than eating the meat product. So.
Absolutely. And with the tofu, my suggestion there, and really what has kind of transformed my tofu game, if you will, is you freeze it first, and that gives it an extra chewiness. Then you press it, and I'll have more on this later because we're finally getting our first tofu press coming soon.
We're going to see if we can get some answers out of the tofu.
But I've been kind of lazily pressing it, not really leaving it for hours or anything. So despite that, the tofu still does get that really chewy consistency. And my seasoning technique is so simple. I just, if I'm cutting it into cubes, I throw them in a bowl. And I just toss in some salt, pepper, and a ton of garlic powder. I don't cook with oil, so I don't cover it with oil or anything. And then I just throw it in the oven at like 425 for 10 minutes, and I flip them over, and I kind of go until they look done. They get a nice brown around the edges, and depending on how well done you want your tofu, it can take you only 20 minutes in the oven.
Yeah.
And it comes out really good. The consistency is really nice.
When you said, it reminded me just now when you said, until they look brown or whatever, it kind of reminds me of all the experiences we've had, like making stuff over the years. And so it's a good reminder for people that when you first go vegan and you're trying to make these dishes, some of them are going to be horrible.
Yeah.
whether it's because it just didn't come out the way it was supposed to, or like say you're doing one thing that's notorious, right, is nutritional yeast, which they use in a lot of dishes to create sort of a cheese flavor kind of. And we've discovered now that if we're using nutritional yeast that's not fortified with vitamins, it's fine. But most of the nutritional yeast you're going to find out in the world and in stores is going to be fortified, and it has a very unique flavor. So if I was going to give some suggestion to anybody that's just starting out vegan, eating this way, if you come across a recipe that has nutritional yeast as part of it, half it.
Yeah.
Use half the amount they tell you.
Until you know you love it.
Until you know you like it. Yeah. Because, there are some people that love it. I mean, Jon Stewart, we saw videos of him eating it just straight with a spoon. I mean, so some people love it, but not everyone does. So, and it can be very overpowering. And if you're not a fan, it's going to ruin that meal.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So make sure you've got a backup at all times, maybe a box of pasta and some vegan, marinara sauce. And this way, if it fails, you know that you can still have dinner on the table in another 15 minutes. That is great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime I think about meals that just didn't come out the way we expected them to, it's always nooch. That's the problem.
Nooch was definitely a problem for a while.
Yep.
But like you said, once we discovered the non-fortified one, how good have some of those dishes been?
Yeah.
Where we're using the full called for amount of nooch, and it is really good.
Yeah, I just I had pasta the other day, and I have I say I because I like the nooch products more than you do, but we bought some Parmesan cheese, and it's made from nutritional yeast, and I want to say like cashews.
Yeah.
It's actually called Nooch It, I think is the name of the brand, but it's great. It just gives it this light, like flavor that's reminiscent of having grated, or powdered Parmesan cheese, on your. Yeah. I didn't really have a point there. I just want to tell you another
actually
story.
A great segue because next I was going to ask you about cheese. What's your favorite vegan cheese out there right
Definitely
now?
follow your heart.
Yeah.
They make, as far as I'm concerned, the best cheeses. They're the only cheese that I've tried so far where I can just eat a piece of it. I don't need it to be in anything. Even just eating a piece of their cheese is delicious. It reminds me, and specifically, I love their pepper jack.
Yeah, it's
cheese,
a good one.
But they're all good. I mean, they make a smoked Gouda. They make an American, I believe. A cheddar.
I think so.
Maybe provolone.
They definitely have provolone.
They're all good though, and
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna cook with them, then you're definitely good.
They melt really nicely.
Yeah, grilled cheese with them is amazing.
Oh yeah. So grilled cheese, just a quick little recipe here, right? So we've got the vegan butter and any kind of vegan bread, mustard, right?
Mustard
That's what
is
I
really
like to
good on
add
them,
to
yeah.
it. Some spicy mustard, 2 slices of the Follow Your Heart pepper jack. That is a grill. Oh, and maybe then some hot sauce to dip it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
Texas
very
Pete's
good.
for me, for sure.
Texas pizza, really any hot
Cholula,
sauce is great.
yeah. Any hot sauce.
Yeah. Yep. Anything you want to keep cool. No, yeah, it's great. Honestly, I couldn't even give you another suggestion because I've never found anything even close to Follow Your Heart.
Yeah, and I was really surprised. What's my favorite one right now? The smoked Gouda, right?
Right, yep.
Which before I was vegan, I don't think I'd ever even had Gouda. I'm not sure I've eaten Gouda cheese once in my entire life.
I think same.
And then for it to be smoked too, you know how I feel about smoked foods.
Yeah.
I do not care for them.
Do not.
But man, if that cheese is not my favorite cheese right now, and the texture, it's so smooth and it doesn't have that weird aftertaste a lot of cheeses can have, and it melts really nicely. It's just as good on a Beyond Burger as it is in a grilled cheese. I can't say enough nice things about it.
Yeah, it really is. They make a good cheese.
Yeah, and you can get I don't know if Follow Your Heart has them, but I know that like Mayokos and Treeline, they make soft cheeses. So if that's your thing, you can get those spreadable cheeses from those brands. And
yeah, definitely Mayokos. I think we got that one time.
Yeah.
And I didn't love it, but I also don't love spreadable cheeses all that much. So.
Yeah. Probably be good with some grapes or something.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done that. Might have a cheese board coming up in the the near future.
Yeah.
That'll be a dinner one night.
Sounds good, man.
So we've really talked a lot about dinner foods.
Yeah.
So how about milk? Because now I'm thinking about breakfast. There's so many plant milks out there. And you, before you went vegan, you were a big milk guy, right?
I was.
Like you could drink a glass of milk and that made you pretty happy.
Yeah. With
I was always grossed out
Yeah.
by glasses of cow milk. So that wasn't a hard transition for me. But how about you?
Well, I grew up in my house. We always had, for most of my childhood at least, it was always whole milk. You know, I just got used to. I wasn't one of the like in my family. We didn't like drink milk with meals or anything like that. It was always like either with cookies or obviously with cereal or even just a glass of milk. But I never really drank it when I was eating food. But I had friends that did. So it was just always kind of a constant. As I got a little bit older, my parents, switched to like 2% and things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's just always milk in my house. But honestly, I think because I loved milk so much, it made it easier for me to switch in some ways. Because the milks were pretty good, to be honest. I mean, it depends on what you're going for, right? If you're going for it to taste exactly the same as cow's milk, then you're probably going to be a little disappointed at first. But if you're going into it just looking for some of that flavor, but also just kind of the creaminess and the consistency of milk, then there are a lot of really good options. For me, almond milk was the first one I think I really enjoyed. And then somewhere along the line, we started drinking more soy milk. And then we found oat milk. I've sort of, at least for right now, I find that I like different milks depending on what I'm using it for. So for coffee, I like soy milk in my coffee. But if I'm having cereal, oat milk. I find oat milk to be much creamier and it just works well with cereal, but it's not necessarily a great... I mean, they're all kind of really good in their own ways, but they are all very different. So anybody, starting out with this, I'd suggest just try them all and see which one you like the best. Some you might have a harder time finding. Soy is very easy to find. Almond milk's very easy to find. Oat milk is getting pretty easy to find too.
Yeah, there are a couple different brands now.
But things like hemp milk and stuff,
so good.
They're still easy to find, but you might not find them everywhere. It depends.
Right. You can often find that stuff down that aisle. I think aseptic packages they're called. I never know if I'm getting that word right.
Oh, right.
Where they're shelf stable.
They're shelf
That's
stable,
really it. Yeah. Yeah, for me, when I first back in 2001, I started off with soy milk because that was the easiest one to get. And I didn't care for it. It tasted a lot like beans. And that was it, just watery beans. And now soy milk's my favorite.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of coconut milk when that kind of first hit the market in the early 2000s, and I loved it. And now I don't want anything to do with coconut milk.
Right.
Cashew milk I love, especially like chocolate cashew milk. Chocolate oat milk is really good. I went through an almond milk phase too, but I've always hated almond milk in my coffee. I just feel like it changes the flavor of the coffee so much, and I don't care for it. I mean, I typically drink my coffee black anyway, but
I agree with that. I don't love almond milk.
Yeah, it kind of like just changes the flavor profile.
Yeah. And one thing to remember, I think that it took me a while to realize this, was, all the stuff that you eat growing up, when you decide that you want to start eating differently, basically, and this would even apply even if you were just doing a normal change in the way that you ate, even if it wasn't vegan, it's gonna seem weird at first because all the stuff that you grew up eating, that's like what you're used to. So when you first go vegan, everything's gonna feel like you're eating a substitute of something else. That takes a little while to go away, but it does eventually shift to become sort of normal for you, and now it feels like that's what you have now. So when I think of having a glass of milk, I don't have this thought in my head anymore of, well, I'm gonna have a milk substitute and have a glass of it. It's just milk now.
Yeah.
Like there's no thought. It's the same with like burgers, and it's the same, like, for the longest time I was always constantly comparing the taste to something else, but if you stick with it, that changes. And now all of a sudden you don't miss that old food anymore. Now I would miss this food if someone took this away from me, because this is what I'm used to eating now.
Yeah.
So that's important for people to remember, because I think the that feeling of oh my god, I have to eat substitutes for everything, that doesn't last forever. So just stick with it and keep it up, and eventually it'll just be what you eat.
Yeah. And that can come up too a lot probably during holidays, right? Like, so much of the holidays we celebrate together are focused around food.
Right.
And so if you associate your favorite grandmother's apple pie with Thanksgiving, that first Thanksgiving that you go vegan and you're not eating your grandmother's apple pie, you're going to have feelings around that. But the nice thing is that you can make a vegan apple pie, and you can even take grandma's recipe and just veganize it.
Yeah.
And before you know it, that will become your favorite apple pie.
Right.
And you can still associate it with that holiday and with your family. And so even when it feels difficult that way because you have this strong emotional attachment, eventually you're right, like you said, that you're not eating a vegan version of grandma's apple pie. You're just eating apple pie.
Right. Plus, if you bring your apple pie to dinner and you have to, you're gonna eat the vegan one and not grandma's, extra bonus, you get an entire pie to yourself. Because in most families, if they're not vegan, they're probably gonna eat grandma's and not yours. So there you go, you get the entire pie.
That's true. There have been many holidays where I've had an entire dessert to myself.
And people really don't know what they're missing, because out of all of the vegan foods, baked goods are the ones that can be indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Depending on if the person who's baking them knows what they're doing, knows how to properly substitute for butter and eggs and things like that, you wouldn't even know.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't even be able to tell. When you bring desserts and people don't want them, like, it's I don't know. They for some reason think that it's going to taste terrible, and in many cases it tastes exactly the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about desserts, one of my favorite desserts has always been ice cream.
Right.
And
who doesn't love ice cream?
Exactly. My motto has always been, like, it doesn't matter how full you are, ice cream melts and will fill in the cracks in your belly.
Exactly.
So there's always room for ice cream. Do you have a favorite?
It's like a tasty cement.
Do you have a favorite?
Do I have a favorite? Yeah, Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, for me, they make the best vegan ice creams, hands down, I think. I'm sure that there are small companies out there that we might not have here, but as far as the big brands that you'll find at stores, that's the one for me. I just I haven't really loved their sunflower butter versions, which
Mm-hmm.
are relatively new, and they say it on it. You don't have to like read the ingredients or anything. Those I haven't loved, but their regular non-dairy ice cream I think is really, really good. What I always find with Ben & Jerry's is that I find the first bite tastes to me like non-dairy ice cream, but once you have a bite, it just it's
Yeah.
I mean, Ben and Jerry's is kind of known for putting out pretty decadent
Mm-hmm.
things, and when they went into the dairy free I mean, you knew they weren't going to compromise their product too
Right.
much,
Yeah.
So it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
And we have our one of our state senators to thank
I was going to
that.
say, big shout out to Cory Booker for
Yes,
that one.
absolutely.
He has given all of us vegans the opportunity to continue to enjoy Ben and Jerry's
Yeah.
without the cruelty, and that is amazing.
How does he not have his own flavor?
What are they
just thought
waiting
that,
for? So if anyone
Booker's
who
and
can
cream ice cream or something, I don't know.
Yeah, if there's anyone listening who can get in the ear of Ben or Jerry,
Yeah.
please encourage them to give Cory Booker his own vegan flavor.
Right, yeah. He deserves it. What are your favorites?
Oh my gosh. Well, I definitely enjoy some of the Ben and Jerry's for
Mhm.
sure. The coffee caramel fudge.
Is that so delicious?
No, that's one of the Ben and Jerry's
Oh,
flavors.
it's one of the Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one I think is my favorite of the Ben and Jerry's. The Cherry Garcia dairy-free version is spot on too, though. So if you're a cherry vanilla guy or gal, then that you should definitely give that one a go, because it does taste very much like I remember the original Cherry Garcia. But yeah, I'm such a sucker for coffee flavored ice cream, and I'm always on the lookout now for the vegan versions.
Oatly makes a good one.
They do, and So Delicious has a cold brew, but they make it with coconut milk. Right. And as I mentioned when we were talking about milk, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the coconut milk things right now. So yeah, you're eating coffee ice cream that tastes like coconut as well.
Right.
So if you don't mind that, it's really good because the coffee flavor is really nice in that one.
Yeah.
The first one that I loved though, like years ago, I don't even know if they make it anymore, was like Tofutti Triple Berry Supreme.
Oh, okay.
That was a really good one, and it was made, I think, from silken tofu.
Right. Well, they still make sour cream, I know, and cream cheeses and things like that.
Oh yeah, so we totally missed touching on.
Well, I mean,
on those.
We could go.
We're gonna have to do a second part of this.
Almost every type of food you can think of, we could have a discussion like
That's
this.
That's true.
On what you can have, what you can't have.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely, like you said before, that if it doesn't matter what it is you're looking for, somebody has made an animal-free version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So, and what about the Magnum, the dairy-free Magnum?
Oh my God.
I was really impressed.
Me too. And particularly for me, it felt like such a flashback because I spent a few years growing up living in both England and Ireland, and especially in Ireland, I have very strong memories of it still was very much the kind of life where you would still go down to the corner store to just like for 25 pence you'd get an ice cream kind of thing. Like I think that already didn't exist for people our age in the US.
Right.
But in Europe, it always felt like older times were still kind of kept alive. So I had very strong memories of always going to the little corner store to get an ice cream, and over there they always had Magnum ice cream bars, and it's just really thick chocolate, and on the inside it was vanilla. And then they made their way. I don't remember seeing them here until I could be wrong on that. But yeah, we got them recently, and wow, I mean, that experience was the same.
Yeah.
It really didn't taste much different than they normally do. So, they're getting pretty good at being able to mimic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'd never had a Magnum bar before, but I've definitely had my share of vanilla ice cream covered in a crunchy chocolate shell. Those types of ice creams, and this was really good.
It was.
Yeah.
That's one example of those foods where I could give it, you or any of us.
Right.
I don't know why I'm the one giving it. But you could give anyone one of those and not tell them, and they probably wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, it's that close.
Right.
You know, that's always an interesting point with us, right? Because I've only been vegan for, you know, a little over a year. And for the past, you know, couple of years, I've been inching further and further toward that. So less and less of my diet was made up of any animal products. So you always ask me, you know, how close is this? Because, you know, for you haven't had this stuff in
I don't remember.
You don't. But I'm still close enough to it where I remember exactly what they taste like, and I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Really.
Yeah, it's really great.
You know, because you'll hear people are always like, every vegan always says that. Oh, you won't even be able to tell the difference. I will be honest with you. Sometimes you will tell the difference, but a lot of times you won't, and you won't know unless you try. So
exactly. Yeah. So how about for you?
Mm-hmm.
I know that one of your favorite candies were always like gelatin-based candies.
Yeah.
Right? You
love me some gummy bears.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what does that mean now that you're vegan?
Well, it means saying bye to Haribo, which is, you know, was a sad day, but that's okay. Because Haribo just doesn't make anything, you know, and when anyone thinks of gummy candies, it's what you think of.
Right.
But there are a lot of companies out there that make pectin-based, you know, fruit candies and things that don't have gelatin in them, and you know, they're good. Honestly, the stuff with candy I've always looked at as kind of a blessing in disguise, because it took my options that way from a billion different things to just a handful of things, you know, that I can have every once in a while. Skittles, you know, but even Skittles, I'm actually not sure. I think they still are.
Yeah,
because
they're gelatin free, right?
You always have to worry about too.
Yeah.
And even within the same candies, you have to watch, because I know like regular Starburst, I believe, has gelatin. The Starburst minis do not. But I think now they have confectioner's glaze.
I think so. We'll have to check on that.
Yeah, we'll have to check. So certain things like that, things like candy, I would probably do a quick Google search, you know, just to be sure.
Or you can download that app, Is It Vegan?
Right, yeah.
That one is pretty accurate, because you just scan the barcode and it will tell you the ingredients, which ingredients are vegan or not, and you get kind of like a meter where it shows you how close to vegan it is, and that's been really helpful. Sour Patch Kids, right? Tried and true, the OG vegan gummy candy. And, you know, they're
original gummies.
Yeah. Yes. And that includes, you know, the peach. Do they even make the peaches anymore? Those used to be my favorite, the Sour Patch peaches.
I've never seen them though.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would try those.
Yeah, but the Sour Patch Kids for sure. Swedish Fish, those are also vegan gummy candies.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's still some options. You're not Laffy Taffy. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, Halloween is not going to be sad this year. If this is your first vegan Halloween, there's still some options. I believe peanut chews. You know, those ones that come in like the wax orange and black paper.
Oh, right.
I think those too.
All of our 90-year-old listeners out there will be happy to know that.
Look, if you like peanuts.
Yeah, you know, candy can be difficult though, because like I loved Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
But you know, animals are way more important. Than peanut butter cups.
And you know, they're easy to make at home if you want to make the effort that way, right? You have mini cupcake pans. You can get the little mini cupcake wrappers.
Right.
And then you just melt some vegan chocolate. You take some peanut butter. I think it would probably work best with confectioner's sugar. And you just mix that together into little balls, put them, you know, into the melted chocolate, cover it, and then just, you know, throw it in the freezer for a couple of hours. And then you've got peanut butter cups. I mean, you have to keep them in the fridge, otherwise they're going to melt. But also Justin's, their dark chocolate ones, I'm pretty sure, are vegan. And I mean, they're a little more expensive, but you can get a small bag of them, and, you know, it can just be a treat.
And then you have the added bonus also of, you know, leaving poor Reese alone, not taking his peanut butter cups from him anymore.
Poor guy.
You know,
Everybody's always taking his peanut butter cups.
I'm impressed with the stash he had on hand, though, because they're still available. Such a terrible joke. Sorry about that,
bad
folks.
Jokes.
Yeah.
We've really touched on a lot of food substitutes. But we still have a few minutes. How about like some personal care items? Like, do you have deodorant is a huge one. People are always like, what's a good vegan deodorant? I mean, there are even comedians that have jokes about it, right? Like, I think it's Jim Gaffigan, right? With the joke about Tom's.
Oh, right.
Says right on the label, does not work.
Does not work,
yeah. So people are always like, what's the good one? So tell me about your favorite deodorant.
Well, to speak to the Tom's one, listen, I love the company, and like we use some of their toothpaste and stuff, but their deodorant does not work. At least not for me. Everybody's different. I don't know. You know, Crystal is a big one, and I know you use them and love them, and I used them for a long time too because they did work. They do not make any sense though that are reminiscent of like men's sense that you know, if you're like my age growing up with, you know, all the different Axe, you know, and things like that.
Things like Old Spice, Irish
stuff.
Spring.
Right.
Oh, or maybe that's more our dad's. I don't know. But anyway.
So, you know, for a long time I used that, and it's not a big deal. It's not like I was walking around smelling perfumey or anything, but I just kind of wanted something that reminded me a little bit more of the scents that I enjoy. And so I tried a bunch, and I did have a hard time finding one because I found that with almost everything else that I used, I was getting, you know, irritation under my arms for whatever reason. I don't know what it was that either was in them or wasn't in them that was making that happen. So I kept going back to the Crystal, and then I don't know, about 6 months ago, I found I decided to try Everyman Jack. A lot of Everyman Jack's products are vegan, and they will say it on. You know, you can check on their website, or if you're in the store, I know they sell them in Target, they sell them in CVS. It'll say vegan on it. So I've been using their deodorant, and it's great because I don't get irritated. They have all the scents, you know, cedarwood, sandalwood, all that stuff. And there's no aluminum in it either, which is another big thing, you know, if you're concerned about that. I mean, that's not from a vegan standpoint, but just from a personal health standpoint. So that would be my choice if I was going to give anyone a suggestion. But there are tons of brands, so I would suggest try them out and see, you know, which is good for you. Because there are also other men's brands that sell them too. I just happen to like Everyman Jack.
Yeah, I've been using Crystal since 2001. It started off where I was using the actual deodorant Crystal. So it was like a stone that I had to wet and use it on my underarms, and then I put it back in its little wicker basket, and it would dry, and then the next day start over again. You have to wet it, and I loved it. I never smelled. It doesn't have aluminum, but the problem was that as I would use it, and by the way, it lasts for like a whole year. It's really it's like $6 for the whole year, deodorant wise. Yeah. But I would find that when it started to get small, and not to the point where I felt like it was time to replace it, but it would kind of get little cracks in it, and sometimes it would scratch me. So then I'd be irritated from the scratches under my arms. So that wasn't really comfortable.
That's an awful place to get a scratch.
So thankfully, they make a spray version. They make roll-ons. They now even have solid deodorant too. But I love the roll-on. I currently have a spray now, but I feel like the roll-on is the most effective. And they've got different scents. My favorite's the chamomile, but they also have lavender and pomegranate. I haven't tried yet, but I know that's a good one too. So Crystal is my favorite, hands down. I have tried others. I tried Lush, and I loved the smell of it. It was like my favorite smell ever for a deodorant. But it irritated me really badly. And there's just something in it that my skin didn't agree with. And same thing with Schmidt's. I tried Schmidt's when they first came out, and the paste, so you just scoop a little bit out and rub it on your underarm, and that irritated me too.
Schmitz had the same effect on me too.
Yeah.
I loved the scent of, I think it was like a lime, like
yeah,
it was really,
like
really
lime
nice.
bergamot. Is that?
Bergamot?
I
Yeah,
think that's
something
how you
like
say
that.
it. Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, it was great, but it irritated my skin too much.
Yeah. And so it really is a personal thing, because that skin under your arm is really sensitive, and especially if you're shaving your underarms too, then there's a chance that you could be irritated by different things that way. So just because we were irritated by this brand or that brand doesn't mean that, you will be. So test them out, find what you like best, what makes you the most comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, skin sensitivities are so different depending on the person. So,
Yeah.
I might have suggested a that works for me that somebody else might get irritated.
Exactly.
You really won't know unless you try.
Yeah,
so.
you've got to try them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, let me see. So you mentioned we use the Tom's toothpaste.
Mm-hmm.
We like that one. Now it's like, if we run out and we use one that was given to us like by the dentist, the taste of it is so, I can like taste the sugar, and it's terrible. I like the much more natural flavored toothpaste. We did try a powder once, and that was really messy.
Yeah, it was good, but it was messy.
Yeah, and very salty. I remember it being
very
so
salty.
I was so thirsty after brushing my teeth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Tom's toothpaste, and for me, I use on my face currently for the last few years, I've used Lush toner, spray toner, and then the moisturizer. I like that. We use some Lush soaps in the shower.
Yeah.
I have.
Oh, I should point out, I use a lot of Everyman Jack products like for other stuff too. Like I have like, stuff for my face. They make a really good like body wash. They make good shampoo, conditioner, even down to like my shave gel is Everyman Jack. So for guys, I don't think they make any products for women.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
You obviously can, but the scents, definitely align with men's products. So right, the name Everyman Jack. But yeah, so for the guys that might be listening, their products are really good. Just make sure they're vegan, because I think they do have a couple of products that might have
probably lanolin.
Yeah, I think lanolin in them. But they may have even moved beyond that. I haven't checked in a while.
Yeah, I have curly hair, so the shampoo I use now, it's actually a co-wash by Curlsmith. I like that one.
It is really good.
Yeah.
For people because you can't see us, I've always had short hair. I'm starting to grow my hair though. I've been growing it for about a year, so my hair is pretty long now, and I certainly have a newer appreciation for these products. And the Curlsmith is great. It's really good.
Yeah, really keeps my hair nice and soft, and reduces the frizz by a lot. Let's see what else. We use 7th Generation. They make some great products. We use that for our laundry detergent, and we use their dish soap.
Yep.
And then one of our favorite hand soaps is J.R. Watkins.
Yep.
Right?
J.R.
They have a
Watkins
couple of good scents. The lavender, lemon, green tea. They have a green tea scent we really like. Yeah.
They had a grapefruit one that was really, really good.
Yeah. We haven't had that one in a while. No. But yeah, so that's those are some of the household products we use. So why don't we touch on some of your favorite places to buy vegan clothing or sneakers or shoes or belts, wallets, whatever.
Okay.
Do you have any suggestions that way?
First thing that pops in my mind is I just bought a new strap for my guitar. There's a company called Tone and Tempo, and you can get their stuff on Amazon. They make vegan guitar straps, which surprisingly are hard to find, because the material of the actual strap itself in most cases is vegan. It's either nylon or something like that, but it's the yokes, I think they call them, right, that attach to those are almost always leather. So it's hard to find those, and I found them because of my nephew, actually. He for, I think it was either my birthday or Christmas or some holiday where you get gifts, he bought me a guitar strap from this place, And it's completely vegan, and I love them. They come in all kind. Every single one of my guitars has a tone and tempo strap with it. So
yeah, he's got a lot of guitars, folks.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a bunch of guitars that don't have a strap yet. So
yeah,
you can almost be assured that it will come from tone and tempo, probably. They don't make crazy designs or anything. So if you're looking for stuff like that, I don't know why I'm going to. This is such a specific,
That's
market.
okay.
What else? I last year I got a pair of Doc Martens. They're boots, and we got them from, what was the name of the place that you bought them from for me?
Did I not get them on the website? The Doc Martens website?
Oh, was it from them?
I think
because
so.
there's the place in the city, right?
Oh, Moo Shoes.
Moo Shoes.
That's where I've gotten some pretty great sandals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess you bought them directly from Doc Martens.
I think I may have, yeah.
Yeah. So those are awesome. They hold up, and belts. Belts can be tricky. I just get my belts at any normal store, but if you just pay attention, you just want to look at the labels and make sure they say man-made materials or faux leather or something like that.
Right.
They're out there. Then they might comprise 5% of the belts you're gonna find in the store, but they're there.
Yeah.
You just have to be vigilant about looking. As far as everything else, I don't know. I mean, I'm a pretty simple dresser. I wear cotton t-shirts and jeans, so I don't really have to try that hard to be vegan with my clothes. Most of my shoes are just sneakers, and they're
made from cloth.
But anytime I do, generally, if I'm gonna buy an article of clothing, I'll actually Google vegan whatever article of clothing, and I do it that way. I almost never go out to the store looking for that, because that can still be difficult to find.
Yeah, depending on what it is you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you're going out looking for vegan Doc Martens, you're probably going to have a difficult time, unless you live in like New York City, where they're going to have a lot of specialized shops and things like that. So you're probably better off just ordering stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, again, like with the food, someone has made a vegan version of almost everything.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a great handbag made from cork. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Oh, my wallet's made of cork.
Yeah. I've had it for about 2 years now, and I'm not really dainty with my handbags, so they kind of get tossed around. I fill them with lots of things, from receipts to just stuff that I think I will house there temporarily until I get it home, and then it stays in there for months. So my handbags have weighed 10, 15 pounds sometimes. And this bag is really, it's really holding up. It's my favorite. It's so pretty. The
same with my cork wallet.
Yeah.
I how long ago did I, like, probably 3 years ago, I've been using this wallet now, and it's still, there isn't a busted seam. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
And again, that thing is in and out of my pocket, and it gets thrown around, and I've had leather wallets in the past, and they did not hold up as well as this. So you can find situations being vegan where where products can be more expensive because they're vegan, but then in other cases you can luck out because cork and faux leather and stuff is not as expensive as the real stuff is, and in some cases I think it holds up better.
I think
and
so
you don't
too.
have to try to take care of it as much.
Right. Yeah.
So there can be definite advantages to buying these vegan products, on top of obviously the very obvious upsides. There are also things like cost and things like that, which definitely make a difference.
Yeah, I think I mentioned in episode 3, if you are a person who loves designer things, there's plenty of that vegan wise too. I mean, Stella McCartney has a lot of beautiful things, and the price tag and all of that is right up there with any other major designer that is using animal products, and I would say that her things are more beautiful. So there's options from if you don't want to spend more than $10 on a wallet, or if you want to spend $300 on a wallet, you can find something at either end of the spectrum and everywhere in between.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's a really good time, I think, for people that could be, getting into veganism now, because I hate to use the word, but it's become a bit trendy, kind of. And you have to watch out for that, right? Because there are a lot of people that'll say, "Oh, I'm vegan," but they're just talking about food.
Right.
They're not realizing that it's all encompassing. It's everything you do. It's the food, the clothes you wear. Even just how you. I don't know. It could even come down to how you vote for things. Like every animals are at the forefront of all the decisions you make. And that translates then to people too, just being kind, really, in general. So it's the fact that it's becoming trendy is kind of twofold. You're going to see a lot more options for people that are vegan, which is great. Just be a bit more vigilant, because you have to make sure that the people that are giving you those products also come from that place, and they're not just hopping on that bandwagon.
Right.
So I don't know what possessed me to make that point. I guess because we're talking about designers and stuff. It reminded me that bigger companies are now getting into the business of trying to make vegan products. So, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. And, you want to support those smaller businesses, those small vegan businesses as much as you can, because we're in it for the long haul, and we want them to be in it for the long haul too. At the same time, if you find something you love and it's made by a different designer, or you can find it easily in Target instead of having to go to shop online or a specialty store that specializes in vegan, whatever it is you're looking for, then that's okay too,
or even just like you mentioned, Stella McCartney,
Stella McCartney,
right? Just if you see a designer product out there and it says vegan, just look up the person,
right?
And if you look her up, you'll see very much in line with the the movement, so you can be sure that buying those products is good, and it's fine. If you see something like McDonald's is coming out with maybe look into that a little bit, because you probably don't have the most forefront vegans giving them advice on how to do that stuff,
right.
so just use your judgment that way. But is it coming from a place of true veganism, or is it coming from a place of we want more people to buy our stuff?
Right. Yeah.
I think that's the difference.
Yeah. And that's something, thanks for bringing that up, because I think that's something that could make a really great episode or portion of an episode, because there are so many things out there. You think about maybe even fast food, right? And that they get into trying to include a plant-based option. And then, you have one group of vegans who are like, I'm never going to give this corporation my money, because they are still profiting off of, the cruelty of animals. And now they're also going to take money from vegan restaurants or vegan, fast casual places. And then there's another group that's like, but what if this is the way that we get people who think they don't ever want to go vegan?
Right.
To go vegan, and the only way you can tell someone that it's good is if you've tried it.
Yeah.
So there's two camps, I guess, that way.
There has to be some compromise in between those.
Yeah.
It's like everything. You can't be just super militant in one way and not allow for other people to try and jump in to bring more people into it.
Right.
It's a difficult thing. It's nothing is really set in stone with it. You have to, like you were explaining, you have to think about the long-term, ramifications of something.
Yeah.
If it means that they're going to bring in millions more people that are going to try something for the first time, out of those million people, maybe 99% of them aren't going to they're going to go, oh, this isn't great, I'm going, right? But even if it brings on some more people, right, it's worth it, or it might be worth it.
Right. Yeah. So great. Thank you. Thanks for that idea.
Hey, you're welcome.
We have covered so much today.
We have.
And I thank you so much for joining me and having this really great conversation with me.
I know I'm generally man of few words, don't have a lot of things to say. So
yeah, that's what they say about you for sure.
But happy to do it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. If you have questions, suggestions for topics you would like me to cover or are a vegan who would like to be interviewed in a future episode, email me at didyoubringthehummus@gmail.com. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.